Welcome to Transitions. I'm your host, Antoinette Zloty. I'm happy today to have two guests with me who are going to talk about fishing. Fishing is a great sport as well. It is a great hobby, and it has taken us many, many years of perfecting certain strategies, which I hope Alan will be able to help us with. And we hope that we'll hear some stories from Frank about his journey into this wonderful sport. So Frank, I understand that you started fishing as an adult, or did you have any experiences as a child fishing?
Actually, yeah, as a child, I wasn't really fishing the way I'm doing it now. But back home in Ghana, what we kids were doing was we'll go out into the rivers and try to catch baby fishes, and then bring them home, try to create an aquarium, but we'll put them in little bottles, and basically they just suffocate and die. So, yeah, I wouldn't call that fishing. But yeah, I started playing around with fishes, yeah, when I was a kid.
So tell us about how you got involved in fishing, because I think you met Alan through the fishing hole, but how did you get started here?
So, in fact, when I arrived in Canada, we had our kids being taken care of by a lady, and the son was actually into fishing. And that was all he did during the weekends. So there was a time he invited me to come out. We were on the Assiniboine River to do some fishing, and that's how I got into it. I currently live in Transcona, very close to a popular fishing shop, the Fishing Hole. So that's where I get my fishing supplies. So that's how, I came in contact with Alan. Yeah.
And some of the fish that you've caught, you have come up with some recipes on, like what is your favorite type to catch?
Well, okay, basically, what I do is, depending on the species, sometimes I'll smoke them, I can deep fry them, air fry them, use them in sauces, or in soups. So it depends on the type of fish and the recipe that I'm trying to make, and they're quite tasty. That is, the fresh waters in Manitoba are very clean, and most of the fishes that you catch here are edible. So I take my bit home and try to use them for some recipes that I'm into. Yeah.
I think that your grandson has been fishing with you.
Yes, actually, yeah, I got the whole family involved. There was a time my mother was here. We'll take time out during the weekends to go out and fish. Yes, I have a 3-year-old grandson, and I'm trying to get him also into fishing. In fact, he's very thrilled with it. And recently we were looking at ice fishing videos, trying to see some of the tricks, in the sport.
And we'll hear a little bit more about ice fishing from Alan, but just a little bit more about your story, because I was really surprised to hear that you were so into fishing, because you get to know somebody as editor of the show, or treasurer of a Comey, or whatever other jobs that somebody is doing, and you sort of come to expect that that is what they do, and you don't really even think of these interests that they got into. So I see you smiling about fishing. So am I understanding that fishing has been a real positive, put a positive transition in your life?
Yes, I would say so. I find it very interesting, but you can be out there either by yourself or with friends or family or community members. And you can take time off a busy schedule in the city and just slow things down, be out there on the water, and try your luck out. That is in terms of getting a bite and reeling something in. If you get a bite and you're reeling it in, it's got some edge of energy that comes with it. And it's actually fun to be out there doing this sport.
Well, my early childhood memories of fish was after they'd arrive at home, and I must say that some of the most delicious fish was the fish that would be roasted whole with the skin, scales, everything on, and then you peel it back, and then it would be just so delicious. And that was in Barbados. Now, here in Manitoba, where in Manitoba do you actually you find the best places to fish?
Fish. Well,
and where you're
yeah.
not competing with the pelicans, right? Because I saw
Well,
a picture that you took
Yes,
of the
well,
pelicans
when you see the
eating
pelicans,
and fighting over the fish.
That's true. When you see the pelicans, it's an indication that there is good fish
Plenty
there.
of
Yeah,
fish.
there's plenty of fish, so that you follow them to get a good catch. Basically, if you see running water, most likely there is fish in there, and that's how I get out. But I fish in any of the water bodies, in Manitoba, either the Red River, Lake Winnipeg. I've been as far as the Fairford River. Assiniboine River is close by, even Winnipeg River. So it depends on my feel for the day and where I'd want to go, and I just drive there. I started fishing off the banks. I have friends that have boats, and sometimes they will invite me, so I'll go out in a boat, but mostly, yeah, I fish off the banks of some of the water bodies that we have.
So, Alan, say for somebody like Frank or somebody wanting to get into fishing, two things I wonder about. One of them is license, and the other is equipment,
Right.
which I understand you're going to show us some of the equipment after. But can you tell us about your journey into this particular sport?
Well, I think I was fishing even before I left my mother's home. My parents, my dad he is a hardcore fisherman, and since I was like 1 year old, I had a fishing rod in my hand, and I just love it. It's the best pastime I've ever had, and my fondest memories are me and my family going out either open water fishing or ice fishing. We go have ice fishing is my favorite thing in the world to do, because you don't need a fancy boat and motor or a trailer. When the ice gets thick enough, you can drive your vehicle onto the ice. You have advanced technology now where you don't get cold. We bring barbecues onto the ice. We have sometimes parties of 30 people on the ice. Cook up burgers, hot dogs, steak, everything. It's just a family experience, and that's the best thing. Is this fishing to me is about family. That's what it is. We have so many fun memories of fishing, either open water or ice fishing. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It's not an expensive sport.
No.
It can be very, economical.
So, like, what would be the price of a license? Because I imagine you have to buy that, right?
Yeah, in Manitoba, everybody under the age of 65 has to purchase a fish license unless you are a status person, but they're very cheap. $30 for the whole year.
That's good.
It's pennies a day. It's not much at all. Over 65, if you get a license for free from the government, so you can fish for free. And as for tackle and for bait and for hooks and line and rods, you don't have to break the bank. You can get started fishing for under $100 easy.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Now, you have a joke you wanted to tell us
It's an ice fishing joke.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this guy walks onto the ice, starts to drill a hole. He hears a voice from above. There's no fishing here. He figures maybe it's a sign from above that's telling him that there's no fish to fish here, no fish under the hole. Walks to another place, he drills another hole. Here's the same voice. There's no fishing here. What's going on? Okay, he moves to another spot. He drills the hole. Here's the same voice. There's no fishing here. He says, God, is that you? The guy says, no, I'm the ice rink manager. There's no fishing here.
Oh, that's a
I
good
love
one.
that one. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite jokes.
Yeah, that is really good. Very unexpected. And I really, yeah, I like humor.
Yeah.
That's very good, very good. So are you just about ready to show us
Yeah,
what you've got there?
I brought
Okay.
some samples of the open and the
Oh,
ice fishing stuff.
Okay, well
Yeah.
then that's good. Let's head over and take a look.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and thanks to Frank for bringing over his tackle box so we can show you exactly what stuff does for open water for ice fishing. We can start at the very top. These are called a float or a bobber. What they do is they suspend the fish, the bait up off the bottom for those fish that are not feeding on bottom. Lots of fish are suspending type fish. This will support the bait, and then when the fish pulls, the bobber goes under. This is a very effective way to catch certain species of fish. This little thing here, you can see it dinging. This is if you're not really paying attention to your rod when you're offshore. You put it onto the tip of the rod, and then when the fish bites, you can hear the little ding, ding, ding. It's very, it's something. It's a little accessory that every tackle box should have. From there, we can go to kind of a rubbery grub tail. Very effective for any species in Manitoba. Pickerel, jackfish, smallmouth bass, bigger fish, lake trout. It's just something that it's very inexpensive and it's very simple to use. Now we can go to something that's a bit bigger. Can't really see it. I can take it out. This is meant for the monsters of the north. These are called lake trout. They can get up to be, how big would you think, Frank? 40, 50 pounds?
Yeah, yeah.
This is something that you would want to use for a big laker up in Clearwater Bay or, not Clearwater, Clearwater Lake or Athapath. Huge lakers, something of that size. The other things that Frank has, he has a lot of selection here. He's got sinker weights, which is a must for anybody that fishes offshore, because what you do is you put it on a pickerel rig. This is probably the most used thing in Manitoba.
Yeah.
You agree, Frank?
Yes, I do agree.
And what you do, it's very simple. Just pretend that these are fake little minnows. You put them on the hook, you cast it out, put your rod in your rod holder, and you wait for the fish to bite. Very simple, but very effective. Probably the #1 fish catching in Manitoba. There's all kinds of other stuff that that Frank has. He has spoons. I'll just pull one out of here. This is called a spoon. Very simple. This one takes more effort than the picker rig does because it's more of casting and retrieving. So that is casting your lure out, letting it sink 4 or 5 seconds, and then retrieving it. And this kind of hook is more to catch certain species like jackfish or northern pike. It's the same fish, just a slang term. So this is something that everybody should have in their box too, very effective. And #1 thing that everybody should have in their tackle box, a pair of pliers.
Oh, really?
Because in Manitoba, all barbs have to be pinched. So it's very simple. All you got to do, every hook has a barb. I don't know if you can see the barb there. See a little barb? Take a pair of pliers, pinch the barb. In Manitoba, they have to be pinched. If you don't pinch in Manitoba, the game warden could give you a fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason behind that is
Yep.
a lot of people into fishing would catch and release.
Yes.
If you have the barb, basically when it gets into the skin of the fish, the skin could tear.
Yeah.
So when you release the fish, it's most likely
it's
going to
hurt.
die. So without the barb, the chances of the fish being alive after you've caught it is much higher.
Higher.
So, yeah.
As for like equipment to use, this is probably pretty much your standard rod and reel.
Could I-
Absolutely. That's a 6'6" rod. That's your standard for shore fishing. You don't want to use too short because then you can't cast out far. Yeah. That's your standard. There is 3 different styles of rods and reels, but this is probably your most popular.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's a 2-piece, which is I recommend 2-piece for the beginner because it's easier for transportation because you just take it apart. So it's easier for transportation.
Oh, so is this for a left-handed person?
It is interchangeable.
Yes.
Oh, good, good,
Yeah.
good, good.
So it's, yeah,
So
some
you
people
can
real,
take it and
And
put it over
put it
there?
on the
Oh,
outside,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
and that's for summer, and that'll catch like a medium to medium heavy rod is something that you would want to look for because that will catch you anything in Manitoba. There's different styles of rods, but this is your standard. I would recommend your standard style of rod. Easy peasy to put together, and it just works, you know?
That's
Oh,
cool.
you did not talk about this.
This one? What's
The jig,
The jig.
the
probably
jig?
the most used hook for ice fishing there is, probably, or for open water,
Open water
there is too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very simple. It's the hook and the weight at the same time. It's all it is. Again, pinch the barb. Don't forget about that. And it has multiple applications. If you don't mind, Frank, I can show you.
Sure, yeah.
So this is probably one of the most common ways of doing something. You put the grub onto, and then you push it down. So you got a nice attractant. And you cast it out, and when you're retrieving it, the tail is going like this, and it attracts the fish. So that's a very inexpensive, and the whole thing would cost you $1 for the whole lure.
Yeah.
So I said, like fishing before, I was saying very inexpensive. You don't have to break the bank to go have fun. You know, that's the reason I like fishing because, I mean, I got some fancy stuff, but you don't have to have. You know,
Yes.
but I've been accumulated for 40 years now.
Oh, no,
you know.
that's cool. That's cool.
So, but you know, besides that, and then you can go into, you know, there's another thing that everybody should have, and I don't leave home without it, is my hook sharpener.
Oh, okay.
Nine times out of 10, after 2 or 3 fish, the hook gets dull. I sharpen it. That's a tip. Always sharpen your hook, because a dull hook, your fish will hook will always follow the fish's mouth.
Comes out.
And then from there, it's just, that's the basics, and then you just add to the basics. Like different colors of jigs, different colors of tails. Like Frank's got a nice assortment of different colors of tails, bigger tails, smaller tails. It goes by what species that you want to catch and how big.
Well, so what's this? Some
That's
sort
the
of
same
bell?
thing as the bell.
Bell?
It's just a different style.
I see, a different
Yes.
style. And this, what is that?
That's for ice fishing.
That must be what this is about.
That's the manual ice drill.
Oh, okay.
That came out before any power augers or electric augers. That was the go-to 35 to 40 years ago. It just takes lots of manual horsepower. So what you want to do, I don't know if you want to
okay.
demonstrate it, Frank?
So, yeah, it's got a protector to
Oh, yeah.
protect the blade because you need very sharp blade to cut through the ice.
Oh, yeah.
And basically find an open spot, let it go down, and depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed,
Horsepower.
Yeah, horsepower.
just
Turn.
turn it, keep on turning. It will cut through the ice. It goes straight down till you hit water. And as it's cutting through the ice, this would be pulling up
Yep.
the some of
Slush.
the ice, the
So
slush off.
how much ice be like? How thick would you say it? Like, I couldn't see myself ice fishing because I wouldn't know how cold does it have to be, and or are there some lakes that you know when to go or?
Well, I usually do it. I'm probably one of the first guys on the ice, so never follow me out because I go lots. But I have a chip bar. It's a big bar, and I hit it. Bar doesn't go through. I consider it safe to go on. But
Oh,
other
okay.
people have their own safety features. Some people don't go on till it's a foot thick. But the Red River is the most cautious you should be on because there's running water under the ice. So that's always one that you shouldn't go on right at the front. Stock trout ponds, littler lakes with no current flow
Yeah.
would go faster, freeze faster. And also it goes by how much snow is on top of the ice.
So is there some website or something that
Absolutely.
somebody could go on and check day by day, like
Yeah, there's
the
about-
safety?
There's about 5 or 6 different ice fishing websites in Manitoba. If you go on Facebook, the one I like is Ice Fishing Manitoba. If you ask, most people on there will give you an honest answer. There's a few people that are, not very nice, but they'll give you an honest answer. But always check for yourself. The most important thing I tell everybody, do not rely on somebody else's information about the ice.
So what about what about this?
Oh,
and
that's-
also about package deals that people go on or tours.
Yep.
Isn't that sort of like safer because you're going with an expert?
Well, if you want to take up the sport of ice fishing and you don't know if you're going to get into it, like if you don't want to go like full bore into it, there's less people that will take you out for a day. You can rent a shack where it's nice and warm. They'll drill the holes for you, so you don't have to supply so you don't have to buy an auger or you have to buy nothing. You go with them first, and then if you do like it, then you could invest in a auger, a rod, a reel, a shack. You know.
So are these people who are licensed to do that
Yes,
kind of?
they're registered guides.
They're registered guides, so
Yes.
they would be online as well, or are
Yes.
they are some of them listed at the fishing hole?
If you go on Ice Fishing Manitoba and you just type in
okay.
the guides,
Guides,
or
okay.
if you just post I'm looking for a guide, they're all looking to guide. So they'll be
okay.
messaging you guaranteed. You know.
Because I'm more like go fishing in the summer.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's
there's lots of
why I
people
got my
who
like,
rent
little
boats too.
summer
Yeah.
outfit here, my rubber boots, and I'd have my hat tied on.
Yep.
Right, so you have to tie your hat on
Yeah.
in the summer because you never know what kind of weather you're going to be.
But I
at the
also
pond.
too the open water fishing community, but even the ice fishing community is very close knit. Like they'll help you out at any given time. Like you ask a question, most people they will tell you, or come. Like I've even invited people who said they've never fished before. I said I'm going out tomorrow. Meet me at Lockport. I'll show you, and I'll bore them a rod and reel, drill holes for them, just so they can try it out.
That's right.
Because it's hard for them to know if they like it, and they don't want to invest $200 on material, and I don't want to fish anymore. You know, so they're very close knit communities. The ice fishing community. They're always willing to help people out.
Yeah, you were asking about this is
Oh,
just
right, yeah.
it's a net that I use during the summer if you're fishing.
But do you keep the pelicans out of the way and catch the fish?
Well, you have to fight them because sometimes you could
They
get
try
a
to
fish.
steal your fish.
Yeah, you
They'll
reel
try
it
to
in,
steal
and
fish,
then
but
they'll
I
try
just
to
wondered if
you
you
get it.
decide
But
to keep
this
them
is
out of the
just
way.
sometimes you can catch some very big, heavy fishes.
Wow.
Yeah.
But carp, for example, are very heavy. Sometimes they'll
Channel
fight
catfish.
you. Yeah.
But
channel catfish, yeah.
you're standing on sort of like on the shoreline.
So, yeah.
Or on a
and,
boat,
and
yeah.
fishing, or
Yeah.
on a boat.
On a
if,
boat.
If you, and
Yeah,
by
so-
all means, I guess you should. If you can't swim, you should wear your life jacket.
Absolutely.
Of
Always.
course, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And watch for the weather conditions in the summertime too,
Yes,
right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there are a few things that you have to do. In fact, before I go out, I'll go online, check
Yeah.
the weather, check a few things before I go.
Yep.
So,
And always have a plan of attack. Like tell somebody where you're going. If you're going by
yeah.
yourself. So if you don't show up that night, they know that something is, something happened or whatever. That's what I
That's
always
right,
tell
yeah.
my mom. I'm going out, and if you don't hear from me by 6, or I'm just as example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tourism Manitoba attracts a lot of people
Oh, yeah.
to Manitoba through fishing and
Oh,
yes.
arranging that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Manitoba
Yeah.
is probably one of the
Big.
biggest. That's our biggest probably dollar for tourism is fishing. I would say.
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
come up from the States or
US.
other countries.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even
And-
from other
yeah.
provinces.
yeah,
And other provinces too, Manitoba
Yeah,
to fish.
that's right. Yeah.
That's good. And then there's so many of us here who've never been fishing, or some who fished and they haven't continued it, right?
Yeah.
They sort of transitioned in and transitioned out. And you're still in, and you're
I'm
trying
still
to
in,
get
but,
other
every-
generations
every summer,
involved.
every summer, I get a group, seniors. I take them out
Oh,
to
good.
show them how to
Yeah.
fish. So far, they've all been very interested. That is, every year they're asking me, when are we going to go out?
Okay.
And also take some kids out, show them, what it takes to fish.
So
Teach
are
them
they,
young,
are
too.
they
Teach them
like
young.
little parks near a fishing body of water, and where you can actually take the fish and roast them right then and there and cook
Well-
them right on the spot?
Well, there's campsites.
Yeah, there are
Campsites.
Yes, that's true.
So
yeah.
that's probably if you want to do a lot of that right away and
Yeah.
cook them up as opposed to
Fresh fish always tastes the
it's
best.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
But no, there's campsites all through Manitoba and the White Shell where you can have a campsite and
Yeah.
have an open fire, all the barbecue or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Alan, you brought your lucky rod.
Oh, this is
Right?
I call this is old Lucky. I've caught more fish on this ice rod than ever. It's 25 years old, and it's still going strong.
So the biggest fish that you caught was how big?
I've got a 62-inch sturgeon.
Not on that.
No, open water.
Open water.
But
This
the
one
biggest
is,
fish I ever caught through the ice, I caught
Ice.
a 33-pound northern pike.
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, but I fish for them.
There is actually a program,
Yeah,
the
oh yeah,
Master,
there we
Master
go.
Anglers program, whereby when you catch certain sizes of fish, you can take a photo and email it, and then you get a certificate and a badge for catching
Yeah,
a
and that's a
huge
very,
fish. Yeah,
very popular program.
that's right. Yeah.
So all in all, just to sum up, I think our viewers must have really enjoyed hearing from both of you, and I am now a little bit enthusiastic
Come on out. I will
about
take it. Come
and
on out.
maybe I'll get the Barbados Association seniors involved too.
Exactly. I can take
and
you
we
guys
could-
out.
Yeah, well, that would be really good.
Anytime you want out, just give me a call.
And Alan and other people out there too who are watching the show might be interested in getting into this really interesting sport. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Alan, and thank
You're
you,
very
Frank,
welcome.
Have a
It
nice
was fun.
for
Thank you.
joining me on Transitions today. I've learned a lot.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.